Right, so today I have two specific UX resumes to review. Very varied, very different regions, different capabilities, skills. Before I jump into them and share about it, you should definitely watch my other two videos on UX resumes, do's and don'ts, and then also a review to follow, because that forms a basis and fundamental understanding. In the end, it's going to come down to you tailoring it and, of course, showing the evidence that you can do the work. Anyhow, as you can see on my screen, these are the two resumes. And so the first one is from a person who has software development background. They're US based, obviously. The resume approach should be highly the same. You want to highlight your achievements, you want to highlight what you kind of did above and beyond of your things, because then you're more likely to get that next role or like a better role. Works that way even in a promotion settings. Let's say if you wanted to get promoted from a junior to midway to senior, you kind of have to start highlighting what you do of that next role and do that work. But there's two specific experience bits. One is the freelance UI UX designer and developer, which is from April to present, and then UX content strategist. Clarify, is it a subcontract? Is it your side business? It's a self-directed work. That could cause a bit of eyebrow raises from certain people, especially if you apply for those who expect you to, let's say, do just one job at a time, or they don't allow moonlighting. And I omitted the year here intentionally, but there's kind of like a 2-year break between the two. You could kind of say that I also did literally one line. I also worked as a software developer, or I did a bit more, but I know this is not relevant for this role, therefore I'm omitting it, or simplifying, shortening it. One thing is to know, and something I noticed in our chat about this resume with the actual person, is that we don't know what we are applying for. So this is a major mistake, by the way, and a common misconception with resumes or even portfolios, that you just make one asset and then it should apply to all the different use cases. Some openings are gonna value UI design, some more user research, some gonna be holistic service design or product design. Maybe it's gonna be even like a startup and self-starting environment, therefore that omitted bit could be actually raised here and saying, hey, I'm an entrepreneurial, let's say, or innovator, or things of that nature, or have business acumen because I ran this successful case. So you need to tailor your resume for a specific job opening. I'm gonna come back to the actual skill sets, but there's certifications, listing them out kind of helps like a keyword for ATS systems, but I would clean those up and maybe only the key ones so you don't overload it, because if it's a UX role you're applying, I wouldn't really look at these. I would just kind of like glance it over and maybe even go through it. Just add to me that, hey, I did some, backend system work, or backend skills is what I have as well. More than enough if it's just like a product design experience. However, if it's more like UX engineering, or you're expected also to do other skills, other bits which is relevant to that, you could kind of highlight. If a company is doing backend development or some version control or some enterprise backend systems or its developer experiences, all of this would be gold. So again, tailor it. UX design has UI design and prototyping in it. So this is like a parent, these are the children. Again, it's good to highlight these for, I guess, ATS systems or less aware recruiters who can scan. But again, if you tailor it, you can kind of highlight those things which you see in a job spec so that it resonates. Otherwise, it kind of like becomes like a random mix of words. And if I see this resume myself, as eventually I would as a hiring manager, after it goes through recruiters' hands, I would be like, ooh, this is a mixture of levels and things and skill sets. I would be kind of concerned that you don't know exactly what is what, let's say. Languages, software, and things of that nature is exactly the same. Again, you should not just list out everything you can do unless you want to do everything or you want to be generalist. But even then, tailoring is going to be the key to this thing. And you probably noticed that a lot of my videos are not sponsored. I like to keep it that way, because if I would like to produce ads for other products and services, I would just be, creative ad designer. I wouldn't make this about UX. So if you want to support me, join our Discord community, because that's where the magic happens. You're making it a bit too wordy in a way, where, for example, here contract with a variety of clients. Let me know how many clients. Let me know how many of them were successful. Maybe even draw some examples of it, of what exactly was the outcome. Like here you say performance scores of 100 to 90. Give a bit more of that. here it becomes redundant because you already mentioned that. So say that you manage clients, maybe you work with exec level people, mention that. This is above and beyond again, which is wouldn't be expected of UX designer, or if you do so, it's, you know, it showcases your communication skills, influence, and things of that nature. Structure and manage organizational UI kit, building component libraries, wireframes, and prototypes. All of it is kind of expected, but you could just say I worked on UI libraries using Figma, but keeping it more succinct because it's a lot of different things here, but a lot of it is also expected from you as a UI UX designer or developer. You could also say, what did that change mean? For example, a code base and making Git pull request. Cool, so this is all ties into more of a developer route, but not so much the UX is really, you know, very light on this. The research here, the UX process, things of that nature, the strategy for the products would be also important. So if you haven't done that yet, consider how you could reshape this freelance thing, or do more of that, or try to, even if, let's say, your freelance new clients propose more of a UX work, actual UX work. Help bring web solutions to 20 rural utilities by leading a team of 5 members and creating hundreds of energy efficient rebate application forms. Leading team of 5 should be almost like a separate point that, let's say, successfully led a team of 5 people who are multidisciplinary. Are they designers? Are they content strategists? You could specify that too as a separate point. That's a big one. Collaboration to develop ongoing content strategies, such as consistently reviewing content requirements and determining essential information points. Very wordy. I feel like this could be summarized as a win. Conducted UX research and UX copy. What sort of methods, if they're impressive or there's something outstanding beyond interviews or surveys, what would be expected. You could also outline elderly customer bases. Sounds like an opportunity for accessibility. You could maybe have some results to show. Presented the final products, not really relevant because you should be doing that already. But then this next thing, increasing user engagement, is a big one. By how much? Do you have that result? Show me. Like, bring that evidence basically. So showcase the win, showcase the achievement. And now the next one is from different part of the world altogether, and it's by a person who's more of a computer and communications engineer, so not really someone who's actually labeling themselves as a UX designer. This is where the key challenge would be. Let's say if you would to apply for UX design jobs, you're going to need to start phrasing yourself and calling yourself that, or even skipping the title altogether and calling something related to UX. I didn't mention a previous resume about the photo, but I kind of learned the hard way that a lot of regions across the world don't even consider resumes without a photo. Your appearance and looks matter more than your skills, which just doesn't make sense. A lot of these things you could kind of just outline as URL and maybe make it a short link. Again, because sometimes you lose the clickability of the things. Let's say if the actual PDF or whatever is this format of the resume gets flattened. And I think a general theme for this resume is going to be to focus on what we want to achieve next or in the long term. Like, do I want to be a UX designer? Do I want to be creative technologies? Do you want to be generalist? Go with that and then tailor your resume and peripherals and, you know, LinkedIn and things of that nature in that regard, because it's going to be much easier for you to get the job. One of the awesome bits though is leading with achievements and awards. If you have anything which is above and beyond, showcase that. This is software engineering. If you would to apply for a UX role, draw out the actual UX skills or product design skills. Using tools and things of that nature is good to showcase as the aptitude of a UI design, but not really UX. And I feel like I would just push the skills up above, and that's just because your focus has been from that technology view. Bring up all those different skills, which is our UX related first and foremost. I don't feel like there is a need to showcase the progress bars or status bars because we don't really add much value here. Just tell me, what are you proficient at? I like that it's clearly divided though into specific bits, but again, tailoring it to specific job application which values specific skills over the others is going to be paramount. So you need to decide, I guess, what's your career projection look like? Do you want to remain generalist, and do you want to do a lot of different things? Do you want to kind of design interactions but also engineer them behind the scenes? That's totally fine, but then, you know, think maybe UX engineering would be that. If you like this video, smash that like button, leave a comment down below. And on that note, go update your resume and apply for that dream job. I hope you get it.